Okay, here's my anchor code. This is an anchor for everything in Unit 1. So the syntax is so new and different. Paying attention to the syntax and ideas in this anchor code can really help you understand some of the foundations of Java. So here we're focused on classes, types, and the main method. I'm going to walk you through line by line the big idea for this syntax and then specifically how it's instantiated in the lines of code here. You might prefer to look at it in the Google Doc where we have that same code and then all of the annotation. And I'll walk you through now each line of code. So here, by convention, names of classes start with a capital letter and variables start with a lowercase letter. You can see that one's got a black star next to it. That means that's the first time we're seeing that, and that's really the emphasis of this unit. Next, we put all of our Java code in a class. You can see for these black lines of text, those aren't specific to the example we're looking at, but the purple one is going to be specific to the one we're looking at. So it says on line 1, we named our class anchor01. When we run our class, we run the method public static void main string square bracket args. And on line 2, we have the main method in the class anchor01. And execution starts in the main method. For this example, running the class anchor01 will execute lines 3 through 8. When we declare a variable, we put the type before the variable name. Variables of type int can only hold numbers without a decimal point. On line 3, we declare a variable named x of type int. Assignment statements evaluate and then store. So first, we evaluate the value on the right-hand side of the equals. The percent sign is the remainder operator. On line 3, the expression 15 remainder 2 evaluates to 1. After we evaluate, we store the value. The variable on the left-hand side of the equals gets a copy of the value on the right-hand side. So in our example, on line 3, Java sets x to have the value 1 because the expression on the right-hand side, 15 remainder 2, evaluates to 1. Initializing a variable means giving it a value for the first time. On line 3, we are initializing the value of the variable x to be 1. When we use a variable, we don't include the type. Because we already declared the variable x on line 3, we don't put the type before it on line 4. Again, assignment statements evaluate and then store. So first we evaluate the value on the right-hand side of the equals. And you can see I used a gray star there. That means you've already seen that general principle before in this example. Okay, so on line 4, Java executes the expression x plus 3. Since the current value of x is 1, x plus 3 evaluates to 4. After we evaluate, we store the value. The variable on the left-hand side of the equals gets a copy of the value on the right-hand side. On line 4, we set x to have the value 4 because the value on the right-hand side of the equals was 4. The value of x was reset. The plus plus operator adds 1 to a variable. On line 5, we reset the value of the variable x with the value of the expression x plus 1 because x plus plus is equivalent to x equals or gets x plus 1. After executing line 5, the value of x is 5. System.out.println is a method and it doesn't give us an answer. After unit 2, we'll call this a void method. On line 3, we call system.out.println with the argument x is, with a space, plus x. We print x is 5 because the value of x is 5. Here I have a gray star. So again, we've seen this specific line before. When we declare a variable, we put the type before the variable name. Variables of type double can hold numbers with a decimal. On line 7, we declared a variable named y of type double and initialized it with the value 2.999. We can convert or cast between the types int and double by putting the new type in parentheses. When we cast a double to an int, we drop any fractional part because an int can only store whole numbers. On line 8, we cast the double value 2.999 to an int value of 2. Again, system.out.println is a method and it doesn't give us an answer. After unit 2, we'll call this a void method. On line 8, we call system.out.println with the argument, in parentheses, int y. And we print 2 because the value of, in parentheses, or that cast, int y is 2. The body of a method is enclosed in curly braces. On line 3, we have a closed curly brace, which indicates the end of the main method. The body of a class is enclosed in curly braces. On line 10, we have a closed curly brace, which indicates the end of the Anchor 01 class. In the past, my students have found it really helpful to memorize little snippets of code like this. That just helps you learn the syntax and get used to some of the patterns like int x equals 15, remembering to put semicolons at the end of lines. It's a little bit like practicing your spelling so that you can focus on writing essays or stories. We just covered a lot of really, really important ideas in the foundation of Java. We've also got a glossary linked in the notes section that goes over all the black text. So those are all the general principles. And then we also have this additional FAQ. So is the assignment operator equals like the equals sign in math? No, it sets the value on the left-hand side. In math, if we said x equals y, we'd know that x and y are always going to be equal. But in programming, we're only assigning the variable on the left-hand side a new value. Variables don't get linked. So that might have been really overwhelming, and that's because this is all of Unit 1 in just a short video. I really encourage you to review some of these sentences to help you develop some of the vocabulary and concepts surrounding Java syntax. Everything's linked below.